Hello, how's it going? Evil Eye is a very nice control deck, and in this video I'm going to be showing a few different builds. One thing I found that I like doing in Evil Eye is playing the minimum number of engine cards possible. For example, recently I found myself doing 2 of each equip spell and 2 of a trap card in a lot of my builds. And the reason why I do this is because it makes room for cards like Double Cyclone and Storm. Evil Eye is a very strong deck if you go first, but it is noticeably a lot weaker when you go second. One way of improving this is by making more room for tech cards. Cards which remove back row are very nice in Evil Eye. There's a couple of reasons why Storm and Double Cyclone are more popular than Cosmic Cyclone in Evil Eye. The first reason is that Evil Eye already pays quite a bit of life points with Selene. The other reason is that destroying your own spells and traps has synergy. Domain and Gorgonio both have effects in the graveyard. Furthermore, if you want to get even more value out of Double Cyclone and or Storm, you can play a field spell skill. The 2 ones to play are either Power of Dark or Light Barrier. Light Barrier is for when you're afraid of AFD. There's lots of different skills you can play in this deck, and currently it isn't completely clear which one is optimal. Life Point Boost Alpha is one of the more popular skills at the moment. It means you can be less careful with Selene and you can survive more OTKs too. I think balance is pretty good in this deck, but I'm not convinced it helps too much with going second. There isn't really much room for stuff like Storm and Double Cyclone, because to make balance work correctly you can only play so many spells. Myth Yard for the Meta Weekly went above 20 cards, so that's another way of getting more room for text. These are the timestamps for today's gameplay. There's a play which I really like doing with 2 domain. If you play the first one face up, you add your monster, and then you play the second one face down before summoning Medusa, you actually end your turn with an extra +1. Because come your turn you will have an extra domain to flip face up and add another monster. This is the demonstration of that play. I'm going to discard Domain instead of Gorgonio because I already have a domain to activate next turn. The difference is that you don't end on a face-up domain to reflect damage, but I think the +1 is more important in most matchups. Leads off Circle into Circle and then does Curtain into Dark Magician. This circle is going to threaten the banishment of my Gorgonio. A very nice thing about defeat is that it can return your own monsters back to your hand, which is super nice with Medusa. And in this scenario, by returning the Medusa back to the hand, the Gorgonio avoids banishment. It gets put in the graveyard to be used to search something next turn. At the start of my turn there were no delays, which tells me his face down card is not Navigation. It still could be Treacherous though, or Divine Wrath. By using Gorgonio's graveyard effect first, it puts a monster in the graveyard before I use Storm. This means that when Domain is destroyed it has something to add back. And there's a few different ways towards lethal here. The one I was going for here was switching that Basilius into attack mode and summoning the second one from my hand. The rest of this video shall be with music. I hope you've enjoyed so far.
catch you one more time. I really wanna